Hey church, happy Tuesday. Coming to you from my backyard. It's a nice beautiful day out here. I've been working my way through the book of Second Chronicles. You probably have too, right? We read Second Chronicles all the time. I've been working my way through it in the mornings lately, and my family is sick of me telling them stories from First and Second Chronicles, but I got one for you. It's actually kind of awesome. It comes from the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 16, and here, this part of the book, it's telling us all about these different kings of Judah, which are kings of basically that were in Jerusalem. And there's this guy named Asa, who is generally a pretty good dude, good king. And, well, it tells us in chapter 16 that the king of Israel, which is the other part of God's people up in the northern kingdom, his name's Baasha, and he's set himself up at this place called Ramah, which is not far from Jerusalem. He's getting ready to be able to attack down in Jerusalem. And Asa, the king of Judah, he obviously he gets pretty scared, and he takes all of the money he's got in his own house, and he takes a bunch of the wealth from the temple, and it says that he took all these things and he sent them off to a guy named Ben-Hadad, who is the king of Syria. Now, basically what it means is that he went to the king of Syria for help because he was afraid that he was going to have a battle with the king from Israel. Well, after he sets this whole thing up and the king from Syria is going to help him, he sets the whole thing up, and then this prophet comes, this guy named Honami. He comes and he says to him, he says, speaking for God, he says, because you relied on the king of Syria and you did not rely on the Lord your God, the army of the king of Syria has escaped you. And then he goes on, he says, basically, weren't there Ethiopians and Libyans that were huge armies that I helped you with? This is what God says. God gives them into your hand. And then he says this really awesome phrase, and that was what I want to pull out to you. He says, for the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to give strong support to those whose heart is blameless toward him. The eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the earth, the whole earth. He's looking everywhere to give support to those who are blameless before him. Now, what's funny is that probably what they're talking about here when he says blameless is he's really talking about those who have kind of followed God's will and followed his word and done a good job of that. But there's also terminology that we use when we talk about those of us who follow Christ Jesus, that we're blameless before him because of Christ. Indeed, Jesus is our righteousness, we say. And so when God looks to us, he sees the blamelessness of Jesus laid there on top of us. And God's eyes run to and fro throughout the earth, is what he says, to give strong support to those whose heart is blameless toward him. Now, application-wise, and why I kind of have been thinking a lot about this Old Testament story about a guy named Asa, is that God has promised his support to us to do his will in this world. And that's a great promise for us to have, but it's especially a great promise at times when we might kind of feel like selling out a little bit to find some easier, more quick, and maybe certain in our minds support. Metaphorically, Asa runs to the king of Syria. You help me, instead of just trusting that God is going to take care of him the way he always has before. And I can really easily, in my fear, try to go to things that will make me feel more presently comfortable than to just trust that God is God and he's going to take care of whatever circumstances in front of me. So I don't know where that really comes through for you. For me, it comes through in all kinds of places. Politics, current events in all sorts of different ways. It's really easy for me to try to find other stuff to make me feel comfortable and safe rather than trusting that God is who he says he is and that his eyes run to and fro throughout the earth to strongly support those of us who are blameless in him. He's going to do that for you, church. He's going to support you. That's his promise. And so even if you're feeling stressed or like that's not entirely true right now, my encouragement to you is that his promises are good yesterday and today and forever. And he is not a God who changes, but he is a God who changes things. And so he can change for you whatever this trying circumstance is. He is your God. Turn to him in prayer. That's going to be the best way to find certain hope about what your future looks like. God's peace be with you, church. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.